Monday morning, low humidity here in Tennessee. I hope you are getting relief as well. Good morning, Leanne Forsberg, Donna Donald. Hello. Folks, I spent a weekend shucking corn. Was it peaches and cream corn? I had a lot of corn I had to shuck and put up in the freezer. But I did take a detour on Sunday, and Wayne and I went out and did a little fishing. We caught 3 good sized ones and all that, but ultimately I went to bed early last night because my body and mind doesn't work as well as it used to. Years ago I could shuck the hell out of some corn from dusk till dawn. You know what I'm saying? I love fresh corn. The vegetables are coming in, and I hope all of you have put up some good canning. Mr. Wayne and I also, we canned a bunch of tomato juice just like we did last year. We started doing the old-fashioned method of tomato juice the way my mother did it in honor of her. Hello, Hope Grace, Cindy Bullock, Stephanie Willow, Jennifer Sukup. Hello, y'all. Hello, Q. How are you this morning or day or evening? I'm sure all of y'all are on different time zones. Hello, Janelle Murphy. How are you? Janelle says, eating from the garden and loving it. Then I'll tell you what, ain't nothing better than organic, from your own area. We get our own honey from this area, and we just feel very blessed to be able to get what we get. In this part of the country and in our community, our neighbors are spread out, but they always end up on the doorstep saying, hey, we just harvested some of our garden and here's some for you. And they don't ask for nothing in return, just being a good neighbor. And it's like, I tell Wayne all the time, I'm like, dang, we have a little box garden where we grow maybe 2 or 3 little tomato plants and maybe some jalapenos. So we don't really have a lot to share, but I guarantee you this, if any of my neighbors needed anything and we were able to do it, we'd step right up to the plate. Donna Donald says, I love purple hull pea, y'all, I'm still waking up. I mean, I slept in this morning. I usually get up around 7:30, but I was snoring logs, even though I won't admit that to my husband Wayne. For all these years, Mr. Wayne has said, you do snore, and I'm like, prove it. I tell him all the time, he's like, why would I make that up? I said, because you snore, and you want it to look like we both do it, which I know in my heart of hearts that I do snore. I've got to. He wouldn't lie to me. But I kid around with him all these years about it. Hello, Alpha Fin X-Team. Alpha Fin says, I woke up super early and I'm still trying to wake up also. Hope Grace says it's 8 a.m. here. That's the best. Sharing the harvest. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Cindy Bullock says cream red potatoes and peas. Oh, that sounds delicious. Janelle Murphy says, made some zucchini bread, is sharing it at work. That's what I love about my garden. Janelle, Mr. Wayne absolutely loves zucchini bread. And guess what? Old KJ's a decent cook, but I'm no Betty Crocker. I can't make it, but the good news is my neighbors make great banana bread, zucchini bread, all kinds of yeast bread and all of that. Oh, it's so good. Sourdough is what it was. I don't know why I said yeast. You put yeast in it, but it is sourdough bread. Stacy Santa Maria says, good morning. I finally caught alive. My friends just brought me some big zucchinis from their garden. They're amazing. It's nice to share good to see y'all raise. Hello, Vix Tex. Hello. Oh, Janelle makes banana bread too. Well, I'll tell you what, that brings me up to something, Janelle. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to do a little housekeeping on the Donna Adelson case today in Charlie Adelson's trial. They was trying to prove the defense that nothing was going wrong with Dan Markel, and that they had Donna and them had given him some banana bread. Give me a break. We're going to talk about that today, but first, to all you Rays out there that got on the community wall, who saw that cute little 6-week-old black kitten that old KJ had in that cute basket, I want to tell you a little backstory on it very quickly, and then we'll go into Donna Adelson and all of that. But folks, first of all, thank you for all the suggestions on the names for that kitten. They were beautiful names, a lot of wonderful comments. I appreciate that very much. But ultimately, y'all, I got to thinking about it, and I thought, well, if I choose one on here to name this kitten, the other ones are going to feel left out. And so, you know, that's common sense for old KJ. I would have named them all, every one of y'all's suggestions. But then I thought, wait a minute. I've been in this marriage with Wayne all these years, and we've had all kinds of pets and all that. And guess who always names them? Old KJ always names the pets. And I thought, wait a minute. I've never even asked Mr. Wayne to name a pet of ours. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to leave it in his hands. Well, it took him a couple of days, and he come up with some silly ones. But, you know, and I was like laughing, but I wouldn't say, no, we're not going to name that cat that or anything. I just kind of laughed it off, and then he'd go to another name, y'all. He said, finally, he said, this is the name for this kitten. And I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yes. He decided to name that little black female kitten Midnight. Okay. And I told him, I said, why midnight? I said, you've always told me nothing good happens after midnight. And now that she's here, you know, that's going to worry me a little bit. You know, I ain't got no problems with this, you know, a black cat crossing your path crap. I'm not superstitious, but you say everything after midnight is not good. And he's like, oh, but that's not what it means, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, her name is going to be Midnight. So, you know, I had her up in my lap when he finally said, I'm putting my foot down. And and I said, oh, will you like your name Midnight? She just looked at me. But the backstory is this, y'all. Mr. Wayne and I came back from Normandy Lake, about a week and a half ago? It was on a Friday that we came back. And for some time, there was this actual black cat, full grown, that was eating out of the feeders in the garage. We could not get near this cat. We didn't know whether it was a female or a male. And I was trying my best to do everything I could to get near it. You know, we would have adopted it or whatever. We asked all the neighbors. It was a feral cat. It just would not get near no one. And many of you cat owners know that when you have cats, unless they're indoors 100% of the time, you're going to draw all other cats from wherever. So we checked around and checked around. This cat was wild as a buck, you know, I mean, just wild. I come home, you know, and for about a month or so, it would be in the yard around the other cats when the cats were out, because we don't have litter boxes in our home. Our cats are all natural. They do come in and eat in the house, or they'll go into the garage, but they ultimately, there's no litter boxes in here, so they're outside a lot of times. And I told Wayne, I said, well, you know, maybe we've got us another cat. It just won't let us near it. And we were feeding it and everything out of the feeders. And I felt good about that because I don't like to see any stray hungry or anything like that. Well, I got home that Friday and I went out on my side porch and I looked through the screen over to the decking and I saw that black cat laying by the deck on the ground in the shade. And I thought, oh, it's taking a nap. And so I walked out there and I thought, well, can I get near it? And as I got closer, I realized that this full-grown black cat was dead. And it just broke my heart, y'all. I started crying. I told Wayne, I said, come here, Wayne, and everything. And Wayne called our neighbor, and the neighbor came over, and It had infection all on its belly, under its arm. It was just dead. And it hurt me so bad, y'all. And so the neighbor took the cat and buried the cat out in the woods. And the very next day, I mean, it just stayed on my mind, you know. And so I called a friend of mine, Sarah, and I said, Sarah, could you find me a kitten? And she said, what do you want, a female, and what color, and all this? And I'm like, just leave it up to your daughter, Amaya, you know, because I know they do a lot of, they help people that need food. It's like Meals on Wheels. And so they run into a lot of people that have stray cats and all this and that. So, you know, I didn't tell her I wanted a black cat or nothing, y'all. And she knew nothing about this black cat dying in our yard. And lo and behold, she shows up Sunday with this little black kitten. And I turned and looked at Wayne. I said, what's the irony, right? So Monday morning, I took the kitten to the vet. She had a little snotty nose. That scared me. She was just the skinniest thing you ever seen. It scared me so much. But they gave her a shot of antibiotic and then sent me home with a little pill bottle full of antibiotic and everything. And I've been giving it to her twice a day. And she's put on a lot of weight. Right now, she's sleeping in her little basket, and I don't want to bother her because the more she sleeps, the more she grows. So anyway, that's really the story. The reason why that little kitten ended up over here. I was kidding around with everyone on the community wall saying, which one of you Rays sent me this little kitten, just kidding around. The bottom line is that it just broke my heart about that cat. And I just thought if I couldn't help that cat, I tried everything in the months that it was here, but it wouldn't let me near it. It ended up being a male. You know, I thought, I'm going to go out here. You know, we've already got 4 cats, but I'm going to go out here and I'm going to, you know, do something good. I mean, we've got all this property and we already take care of all, you know, these cats. And so that's what I did. Donna Donald says, sometimes the animals pick us. Janelle says, now you have another cat to sing to. That's right, Janelle. Great positive thought. Cindy says, meant to be with you. Vixtech says, awesome. Cindy Bullock says, oh, that's sad. It was, y'all. It hurt me so bad. I'm just an animal lover at heart. Just absolutely just love, you know, my cats and everything. But anyway, that's the story of that. And now the little kitten is named Midnight. She's got green eyes, as many of y'all noticed on the community wall. She's so cute. I don't know. I'm not, I guess I don't know enough about it. But I mean, just out of curiosity, if any of you know, when a kitten is born and they have the green eyes, will they stay green or will they turn? Does anybody know? I mean, I know I've got cats myself, but I haven't really homed in. I've always just loved on them and played with them and never really looked at the intellectual aspect and the biological aspect of cats. When they have green eyes at 6 weeks, will they stay green? That's what I'm curious. Does anybody know? Kathy Barilla says, good morning. I would name that kitten Midnight, KJ. We adopted a feral cat. She is black. I think she picks us too. Well, that's wonderful. Hello, Artie and AC. Artie and AC says, hi, my friends. I'm at a dog park with my friends in New York City. Just saying I love you all. Gotta go. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun, Artie and AC. I've never been to a dog park, but I've seen them on TV and all of that. Gotta be careful. Some of these dogs will, you know, they want to do more than sniff the butt. They want to start fights. I mean, it'd be really hard to take a bunch of dogs and put them in a park, but I think it's a great idea. Cindy Bullock says, I have 10 ferals outside. Oh, my Lord. Do you feed them? I mean, I'm assuming you do. They won't, that's the whole thing. It's like, you know, you go and you try to, you know, when they're adults and they're wild, you're just not going to get near them. It's just the kittens that maybe have a chance. If you know, they might start out running from you and stuff, but I'll tell you, this sweet little black kitten, Midnight, she's been up in my lap. The strange thing is I have this little, it's like a little porcelain bowl. It's probably like this. It's probably about this deep. I've added everything in it, you know, the kitten food. I mix broth in it because she's got a little snotty nose and she's on antibiotics. Just a little extra something to get fluids in her now that she's taking this antibiotic and everything. But she will not, if I put it down on the floor, she will not eat out of it. The only time she'll eat out of it is like I put a towel on me because her claws. The only time she'll eat out of it is if she'll jump up on me and she'll sit there and she eats like she's starving to death. And I have to sit there and wait for her to finish all of it. But because she is a kitten and I do need to do the responsible thing, I have moved a small litter box into her room. I've got her in one of my big bathrooms. I've got it kitten proofed and put her basket in there, her water dish and everything. And she is learning to use the litter box right now. Hello, Fancy Nancy. Hello, Denise Gray. Does anybody know if the cat's eyes change? I'm just curious because I haven't seen any comments yet. Yeah, she's just sweet as she can be, Janelle. She really is. Cindy Bullock says, Fancy, good to see you, sweetheart. Janelle says, you are her mama now. She probably feels safe eating with you being there. I just don't want to put her in that routine so much that she, you know what I'm saying? But she is young, so I'm going to give it a little time. What I'm going to do is, like, I've got the towel on me and she's eating and everything. And what I'm doing, I've tried it a couple of times. I've got this little stool in front of my chair. I'll set the towel with her on it with the bowl there, and she has tried to eat out of it there. So I'm trying to put a little distance with her. Cindy Bullock says that her eyes will stay green. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? That would be wonderful. It's really interesting. My mother's eyes were green, and I've got a little green in mine. I guess greenish blue is what I've got. I've had them stay green and had them change, says Jennifer Sukup. So there's a possibility, y'all. Okay, so now that we've gotten together with each other this morning, and OKJ's run her mouth about my story about the kitten because I just had to share it with all of y'all, it's time now to get back into this mode of justice through understanding. Today, August the 12th, according to WCTV, attorneys on both sides of the Donna Adelson case, which her trial will start to begin on September 17th with jury selection, are trying to meet an August 12th, that's today, y'all, deadline to submit lists of witnesses and exhibits, disclose all evidence. Today is the day, y'all. Also, it is a deadline for pretrial motions in the case. And what's interesting about that is just think about Dan Rashbaum, who was the defense attorney for Charlie Adelson. When Charlie Adelson got convicted and sent off to life in prison, he is now Donna Adelson's attorney. She waived that when she decided to keep him. In other words, she can't use the fact that Dan Rashbaum is her attorney for any appeals issues. They had a hearing on it, last year sometime. But anyway, so today is the date on that. And OKJ, y'all know I don't do things like other channels do. There are many, many YouTube channels that have got excellent, excellent coverage of the Donna Adelson case up to now, the pretrial stuff going on. They've covered Charlie's trial. They've covered Catherine McManowah's trial, and et cetera, et cetera. So they are the priority. If OKJ is going to give you advice, the advice would be to go to other channels. I'm not going to plug any, but I'm sure some of y'all could, and I don't have a problem plugging any YouTube channel. Okay? I just don't. It doesn't matter to me. So those would be the authority on all this. Or, I'm going to say it, if you are into research and analysis, your own research and all of that will get you to where you need to be. OKJ does things a little bit differently. I do rely heavily on the rays for any information, along with any other comments that I run across. Not to say those comments would be 100% factual, but it gets OKJ in that mindset of, well, okay, this is their comment about Donna Adelson's case. What are they trying to say here outside of what they're trying to say? And one of the best places that OKJ can look to get the full meal deal is to look on Reddit. Reddit, it gives you a flavor of what people are saying about the Donna Adelson trial that's supposed to be coming up here. A lot of these people, you can tell, they have absolutely followed it from the beginning up to this point. Again, this is not 100% factual information, but it puts you into that mindset of what people are thinking and feeling. Remember this, y'all. Whenever I read your comments, I take it to heart. I listen to what you have to say. And it can lead me down different roads in whatever you're saying. It could trigger something there like, hey, they're talking about A, but it's making me think that I need to go and look for B, right? But that's just me. That's me demonstrating where I'm going with all this. So today is the August 12th deadline for exhibits, witness lists, all evidence, filing pretrial motions. I'm sure if there are some pretrial motions that we'll find out through other channels or such of that. But anyway, I want to go over these things, and the only way I know how is just go down through it and we'll talk about it. All right. By the way, Kathy Barilla says, KJ, yes, Reddit is good, but Fancy Fiction has been there from the beginning. She has attended all court hearings. She knows a lot. So y'all keep that in mind. Listen, folks, any of you rays or people that don't consider themselves rays that are on here right now, if there is a plug on something, KJ's not saying this, because someone else said it, I'm plugging it and I'm saying this is what I'm trying to say is there are variety out here. There's millions of YouTube channels. And it's really up to you to decide whether you're going to go to another channel and really take what they say to heart or take them for their word or this or that. I myself, like I said, I'm a fish out of water. Y'all know I'm just an old country girl from Tennessee. This is what I see. Now, I went on there and there is an amended witness list. Now, remember the witness list, the full witness list is due today. This was the initial witness list. And these are the names of the people that we know for sure are on the state's witness list. Does not mean that they're going to be called. It just means they're on the witness list. So I'm going to go down here. Some of these characters I know nothing about. If you know something, put it in the comments. That's the whole reason KJ's here to talk about it. To demonstrate my desire to get justice through understanding. And for whatever reason you're here, more power to you, okay? So the first one on the state's witness list is Charlie Adelson. And for anyone to think that he is going to come back from South Dakota, he is on the state's witness list. Does anyone believe Charlie Adelson would come into Donna's trial, his mother's trial, and testify against her? When he was at his sentencing saying, I am not guilty of any, that's the only thing he said at his sentencing, when he was to allocute. So is he really, just because he's on that state's witness list, does not mean Charlie's coming down there to blow his mama out of the water. I just don't believe it. I don't. But it's interesting anyway. Why would the state put Charlie Adelson's name on their witness list? What could they extract? The only thing, and this is just for sake of argument, I don't believe it's going to happen. What I am saying is that the state could put him on the stand, but he'd be a hostile witness, I would assume. But even if he wasn't, they're saying that this is rumor, y'all. This isn't fact. The reason he would want to testify against his mother is because they have promised him a name change in prison. I don't believe that. I just don't. He wants a name change in prison because he doesn't want people trying to kill his ass. The Latin Kings or whatever. I don't know. I mean, that's a little far-fetched for old KJ. Again, I am getting this information off of Reddit, and I'm not saying I agree with it. I just said I didn't agree that Charlie Adelson would testify against his mother, but it is on the witness list according to these people. Robert Adelson is the other son of Donna and Harvey there, and I know this to be true. He didn't have a good relationship with his mom and dad because they wanted him to marry some good Jewish girl, and he had this girlfriend that was of another faith. I think it was Hindu or something. And ultimately, when he did a podcast, he said everything they ended up coming to once him and his Jewish wife divorced and he got back with the woman, that his parents did fine. But he has said some things that aren't exactly shining moments about his family life. Now, I could see the state bringing Robert Adelson in to demonstrate to the jury how Donna was this wigged out domestic coordinator and how it affected his life. Perhaps it's about the fact that his parents would not accept his Hindu girlfriend and how they had arranged things, basically, for him to marry this Jewish girl and all of that. And maybe that would be brought out. I do believe Robert Adelson would testify for the state to show how controlling that Donna was. That's an opinion, though. Jenny Benny says, I'm so glad Robert got away from the family. I'm sure he is too. Exactly, Jenny Benny. I don't think, from what I've heard about the podcast, that he is just daggers for his family. I don't. I think he does touch on some of the toxicity and all of that. But ultimately, I do believe Robert Adelson will testify. Now, there's a Thomas C. Gano, Gano. He's a Miami criminal attorney. I have no idea. If any of y'all know who this guy is, he's from Miami. And really, could it be that he's represented any of the Adelsons before? It doesn't matter because there's that attorney-client privilege thing. If he didn't represent them and say Donna came to his office and said, we're being accused of, conspiracy to commit murder, and she might have said something and she did not retain him, maybe he could say something. He could be an attorney that Catherine Manowah had sought out, or any of the Adelsons, or any of these other, the hitmen or anything. Ultimately what I'm trying to say is unless any of the characters in this case retained him, is he free to talk about what their conversations were? I mean, ethically, even if he didn't get retained, is it ethical for any attorney to say, well, they came in to visit and see if they could retain me, and we talked about this. That would not be good, I don't think. But then again, this Thomas C. Gano, Gano, might have some blockbuster thing to say. Leanne Forsberg says, I think he did represent one of them. Not sure. Jenny Benny says, is he the attorney for Sigfredo Garcia? Those are questions. And again, this is exactly why I absolutely honor people that, whether they're right or wrong, their comments lead to other questions. It gives a more rounded view of the psyche of people and how they see things. It leads to other questions that maybe can be answered. Maybe their original comments, you don't get an answer. Maybe it's not a fact, and it just really falls by the wayside. But what if their comment there led to something else where you could dang slam that thumb down on it and say, there you go. That's something that would have never come out unless I would have saw this person's comment. You know what I mean? Rabodi, this is about the Donna Adelson case. This is about a woman who was more of a domestic coordinator than she was mother, who hired, and this just my allege, I'm going to say allege, y'all. She got her son to hire some Latin kings down in Miami there to take out her son-in-law that she helped her daughter pick out to marry in the first damn place. And they busted their asses, the hitmen, the go-between woman, Catherine Manowah, and the son, Charlie Adelson, is in life in prison. Now mama is going on trial, okay? All right, next, and we're talking about the witness list. The complete witness list comes out today, unless we find out somehow that the defense or the state asked for an extension, which I haven't seen anything online on that. And I don't believe that the judge would give an extension because the trial is September 17th where they have jury selection. All right, so next would be Tara N. Kawas, who is the lawyer for Catherine Manowah. Again, y'all, we're talking attorney-client privilege. I mean, what can this woman testify to? I just, hey, I'd be the first to say, nail her ass, nail Donna's ass to the wall with this attorney of Catherine Manowah. Do it to it. But folks, I am one of these types that believe the attorney-client privilege. I just do. So I don't know if this is like a prior, attorney for Catherine Manowah, whether after Catherine Manowah's conviction that this attorney can ethically talk about these things. This is where, okay, Jay's ignorant, okay? I'm not stupid, but I'm ignorant, okay? So perhaps one of y'all can enlighten me on that. It's just, when we're talking about attorneys for either the players or whatever, it's just strange to me that the state can bring them up to testify. Leanne Forsberg says it was Katie and Sigfredo Garcia's first lawyer, then he dropped Catherine. Thank you, Leanne Forsberg. I appreciate that. Well, Rahobi, I guess that's how you say it. Glad you're here. So anyway, the next one would be Francis Manowah is the brother of Catherine Manowah. Now, this one should be interesting, y'all. What does her brother have to say about all this, huh? Could this have something to do with what we're going to talk about here shortly about, whether the Adelsons, funded Catherine Manowah's, she didn't get no a court-appointed attorney. She got her a good attorney, and that cost damn money. The reports were that her sister or her mother and all this and that helped fund it. Folks, really? I mean, come on. So this brother might have something to say about that. Or this brother, and this has got to be geared toward Donna Adelson, okay? Yes, this brother could talk about other patterns. I'm not sure about 404B material, what a judge would let in terms of past acts to just prove that this was all, going the way it was going to go. I mean, there's all different kinds of things that he could testify about, or maybe he could testify how close Charlie Adelson and maybe even Donna was with Catherine Manowah. I mean, we've seen one photo of Catherine Manowah taking a picture with Wendy, huh? Oh, yeah. We know Wendy Adelson will have to testify in this trial. She lied and can be proven that she perjured herself in the last trial. But then again, nobody's doing shit about it. It's just the way the justice system is. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Vivian Lin says, morning, sitting here at the dentist. Glad for the distraction, KJ. Glad to be here. Well, we're glad you're here, Vivian. So that's an interesting, and again, just because their name is on the list doesn't mean they're going to testify. Sometimes they'll add people. Controversial would be Charlie Adelson and Catherine McManowah's brother, and the defense is like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? And they spend so much time trying to co-opt that, then they find out they're not even going to testify, right? So Lee Pierce is a digital forensic consultant for Tallahassee Police Department. I would say that, when you're talking about digital forensic consultant, maybe he's there to authenticate the bump, the wiretaps, cell phone stuff, all of that goobly gobbly stuff. It seems that would be important for them to show the jury how, it's real and this is what we did and all of that, so that the defense can't get up there and say that, it wasn't done properly or whatever. Or it could be when the Dolce Vita, where Charlie and Catherine McManowah, the FBI set up a thing there where he's talking about all this. You can find it on the Tallahassee Democrat on YouTube, word for word. Broke down. Originally, it was hard to understand. It was digitally enhanced. Maybe that's got something to do with that. Who knows? But that's going to be interesting testimony. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Lisa Shelby, interim associate dean at FSU, and that's where Dan Markell and Wendy Adelson both worked. What could this witness tell us? Maybe the relationship of, I keep thinking this is Donna Adelson's trial. This is her trial. It would seem that the state would want to narrow that down to any testimony that anyone would say that would prove Donna Adelson's guilt. So, could Donna have done something, said something to this interim dean of FSU, perhaps? It can't just be that, because the first thing I thought was this dean was right there at the school that Dan and Wendy worked at, and this dean would come on the stand and talk about, the dynamic between Dan and Wendy at school, or Wendy going and saying, Dan's talking shit about me or something. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's a pattern. Maybe that's, but again, this is Donna Adelson's trial. So I'm just curious. Leave it in the comments on the rewatch, y'all. I can't keep these. I guess I could go back, go on the home computer, look at the live stream, which I usually do anyway, but it's almost better if you can come back for the rewatch if you have any answers for OKJ, or even a question that might lead to an answer. So then you've got Sarah Yusuf, senior attorney for Justice Research Group. Justice Research Group. I didn't check this out. I should have. Again, y'all, I'm not one of these, people that are, got their shit down all the time. This is me thinking, me talking, me wanting interaction and answers. It can't just be, I've come on here, y'all, this is the answer. This is the way it is, blah, blah, blah. It can't be that for me. I love the concept of OKJ using the old noodle here, as little as it is, along with everybody else's massive brains, because y'all have seen me through the last case. It was a lot of your information that helped me through it. I'm just hoping that some of you that come on here know what to tell OKJ. So this Justice Research Group, I'm trying to figure out where Donna Adelson fits into all that. Could this be something having to do with trying to get Charlie off the hook? These Innocence Project things? Or is this a person that can get on the stand and talk about statistics in conspiracy to commit murder cases and families, or something to that degree? Who knows, y'all? I am here laying out the questions, hoping for the answers, okay? So from there, you got June Umsinda. Who is June Umsinda? I bet some of y'all know who This is the previous girlfriend of Charlie Adelson. So first and foremost, you got to kind of picture this woman, in a relationship with that. Ugh. I don't like him. I think he's scary looking, okay? I just do. First of all, but he's a periodontist and he makes all this damn money. When it comes to doctors and dentists and all that, these women, they want to nab them one. So, but this Junium Cinda is going to be a witness. I believe she's going on the stand. She definitely is going to have something to say. I hope that she brings out how Donna has got this unnatural relationship with ruling over Charlie, getting Charlie to do all this stuff for Donna. Just something to that degree. I hope that's brought out. But ultimately, this isn't Charlie Adelson's trial. He's already been convicted and sent off to prison. This has got to do with Donna, so she's had to observe Donna in her, whatever Donna does, and perhaps this will clue the jury into just how wigged out Donna Adelson really is. So that is going to be interesting. Then you've got Scott Radius. He's the nightclub manager of Vibe Music Lounge in the Miami area at the time of the murder. That clues OKJ in. At the time of the murder, I don't see that Donna Adelson is going to go into a Vibe Music Lounge. Charlie Adelson would. I'm sure Charlie Adelson's been to a lot of these titty bars and, these Dolce Vita restaurants and lounges and things. Maybe this nightclub manager overheard something Charlie said. Maybe this nightclub manager saw Catherine McManowah or these other two hitmen meeting with Charlie. And that would have come out in Charlie's trial. I've got to think about that, right? You got to look at Charlie Adelson's trial. And if you see a witness on here that you're like, how is this connected to Donna Adelson's guilt in terms of the state's view of it? I just don't see Donna Adelson going into the lounge, so it would have to be Charlie. And what is it that the state is trying to extract, right? Sydney Bullock, are you saying that I am freaking funny? Are you making me laugh? Am I making you laugh, huh? Am I making you laugh, Cindy? Huh? I just got to know. All right, so that's going to be interesting. And again, just for emphasis, we don't know if these people are going to be called to the stand. I really believe. I'll name them all off on this list. This isn't a complete list at the end of this to tell you who I believe is going to testify. They might all testify, but in my view, I'll let you know. So this is the witness list that was provided to the defense, and it doesn't mean all these witnesses will testify. I don't believe Charlie Adelson will testify in this trial, and that's a bummer because I'd love to see him on the stand, spewing out his lies even more. I'm sure he's had a little bit of time to continue this stupid extortion 1 and extortion 2 crap, and whether Dan Rashbaum is going to continue down this bullshit road that this is what happened. But Robert Adelson, I believe he will go on the stand. Tara N. Kawas, it's a good possibility. I believe she'll probably testify. Frances McManowah, I believe, will testify. I believe Lee Pierce, the digital forensic consultant, will testify. Lisa Shelby, interim associate dean at FSU, I believe she will. Sarah Yusuf, I'm just not sure about that, but think about it like this. Why even put them on the witness list? This is a research group, unless you're trying to extract something, perhaps. June Umsinda, I believe, will be going on the stand. Scott Radius, that's an iffy. Ultimately, y'all, I believe all of these will at least be called by the state except for Charlie Adelson. So that's just my view. But let's get to this, y'all. You know, when we're talking about some of these potential witnesses for the state, you've got to wonder whether they're an attorney, whether they're the brother of Catherine McManowah, or this Enda, who was a girlfriend of Charlie Adelson. Could they know whether Donna and Harvey funded Catherine McManowah's defense? Because in Charlie's trial, it was brought out on the stand that no. And ultimately, what it comes down to is this has already been ruled on. Why am I bringing it up? Because, again, if this is an amended list, and that is their purpose for going on the stand, and the judge has already ruled there isn't a direct connection, can the state bring in an indirect connection, and would the judge allow that, right? So this is what I have gathered on this. From Reddit, there is a person called OP that says Catherine McManowah's legal fees being paid for by the Adelsons, it's a bit ambiguous. What I read was the judge had stated that he was satisfied that the payment had not come directly from the Adelsons. There was no evidence to show it came from them, but the inference was it could still have come from them indirectly, i.e. a third party. In other words, it could not be proven that the Adelsons paid for Catherine McManowah's legal fees, but it could also not be disproven. And I think that's where Francis might have something to say. And Francis McManowah being Catherine McManowah's brother. The story is that Catherine McManowah's mother paid for her legal fees from her annuity and retirement. I don't believe that. She wasn't working in a high-paid job, and Catherine McManowah had 2 trials. Also, if that was the case, then the court could have been told that on day one, they could have told them that on day one and shown proof of the payments. Catherine McManowah received a significant amount of money from Charlie Adelson and Harvey Adelson, including 2 cars and the offer of a boat, plus holidays, clothes, and a boob jobs. 100% they contributed to her legal fees. This is an opinion, y'all. Charlie Adelson would have been crapping himself. Can you imagine how quickly Catherine McManowah would have flipped with a court-appointed attorney? So, you know, I remember when Charlie Adelson went on the stand in his trial, and the prosecutor, Kaplan there, asked him, she said, well, she was in jail all that time, and, you know, you could have come out with the truth if this extortion stuff was really real. And he's like, I thought the truth would come out. I thought, you know, and my attorneys told me not to say anything. That is not, to me, I just see no honesty in that whatsoever. Any attorney saying you need to stay out of this, Charlie, when he knew the truth of the matter, if it indeed would have been extortion, that is terrible advice. You should always come forward if you have relevant information in an investigation of a freaking murder, okay? But, you know, it is what it is. So, also, speaking about Charlie, and in terms of whether he would testify in this trial, these are thoughts and comments that, again, I highly regard, whether they're true or not. It helps me to soak in things. Charlie's in prison, not jail, and he's in protective custody and nothing to do with the Latin Kings. Someone threatened him with violence in Wakula Correctional Institute in Crawfordville, and he reported this person to the authorities. He was labeled a snitch because of this and moved to South Dakota. There might also be threats from the Latin Kings. but this was not behind the move for protective custody. So it has been confirmed that he has been put in protective custody back when he went to prison and all that. Was that procedure anyway, and people just attached rumors to it? I don't know. Maybe this is rumor, but again, it is what it is. And then we have this mathematician on Reddit that says Charlie is in witness protection because he agreed to testify against Donna in exchange for being given a new name in jail. That's why we don't know what jail he's moved to. Now, remember, these were comments back. This one was about a month ago. So, OKJ's just looking at this from all different views, all information that comes in, I'm looking at it. Whether it's factual or not, the bottom line is you've got these witnesses that initially were turned in by the state to the defense, and today, August 12th, the whole list, along with exhibits, evidence, pretrial motions, are due today. So there you go on that. Who knows? It's okay, Fancy Nancy. Thank you. Also, you got middle-aged bubbly gal who says, it's awesome that Robert Adelson is on the list, hoping to hear more about the early days after the murder and his family's behavior. The jury needs to hear from him too. So, who knows what Robert knew when he found out about Dan Markel's murder. I don't believe that he would be able to testify after that murder how his family was reacting because of what? You can look it up on YouTube. Charlie and Donna's talking in the jail phone calls, and she thought she hung up, and she goes on and on about all this stuff, and she says, I got a son that won't even speak to me, right? So I don't think that he would be able to testify on something after the fact. Maybe the early years of the domineering domestic coordinator shit that Donna done, but I just don't think he has any evidence after the fact of any of it. If she's saying on a call that she didn't know was still being recorded there, and you can look it up again, she says, my son, I've got a son. She goes down this laundry list. My daughter's being mean to me. Charlie's might as well be dead. He's in prison for the rest of his life. And my other son we have no relationship, basically. So there you go on that. And just to kind of give you something to think about in terms of these particular witnesses that could speak of Catherine McManawah's retainment of attorneys in 2 trials. That's a lot of freaking money, y'all. Okay? Listen to this and just something to chew on, all right? Tallahassee detectives are investigating whether Dan Markel's murder suspect, Catherine McManawah's legal fees were being paid, at least in part, by her sister-in-law. Samantha Ches McManawah, who is married to Catherine McManawah's brother, and he's on the witness list, y'all. The sister-in-law is not on the witness list, but the brother is. So that can give you a little clue there. So she was arrested in March in South Florida on charges of embezzling $1.19 million from her employer. So her sister-in-law, Catherine McManawah's sister-in-law, was arrested on embezzlement, right? Think about that. Embezzlement men took all this $1.9 million, all right? She faces charges of grand theft over $100,000 after her arrest by the Plantation Police Department. The 46-year-old's case could be of particular importance to prosecutors in Tallahassee who have long sought to suss out who is paying for Catherine McManawah's legal defense on her charges of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation of murder in connection with the Florida state law professor's July 2014 killing. But the payment of Catherine McManawah's legal fees and her sister-in-law's embezzlement case may be tough to link, said Assistant State Attorney Georgia Kappelman. Okay? This is coming from the prosecutor. She says it's going to be hard to prove. They're looking at that, she said. It's going to be hard to prove. Catherine McManowah's attorney, Chris DaCosta, and Tara Kawas. There it is, y'all. Here it is. We got Tara Kawas. We also have Francis McManowah, the brother of Catherine McManowah. This could come out, y'all. This could very well come out that Donna helped pay for Catherine McManowah's defense. Because let's just be clear. If Catherine McManowah would have been found not guilty, they would have never been able to go after Charlie Adelson. It is my contention that after Catherine McManowah was convicted in the second trial, after the first was a mistrial, I'm sure Donna and them's, their freaking asses there kind of loosened up a little bit because they'd been puckering all that time. The bottom line is when Charlie gets convicted, I guarantee you if Charlie Adelson would not have been convicted, they would not have arrested Donna Adelson. It's a domino effect. Which brings me to, if it's a domino effect, who's next? Would it be Harvey? Would it be Wendy? That's up for supposition, y'all. So anyway, Catherine McManowah's Chris DaCosta and Tara Kawas say they are far removed from the arrest of her sister-in-law and the money she is suspected of stealing. So maybe that angle cannot be looked at, that the money that was used to embezzle went toward Catherine McManowah's defense, but maybe because that's out of the picture, and it's been stated by those two attorneys that no, we didn't get any embezzled money, blah, blah, blah. We didn't get it from her sister. They can prove that they got it from Donna. Who knows? Last July, Kawas and DaCosta volunteered to tell Leon Circuit Judge James Hankinson that her family was paying the legal fees at a financial hardship. That remains the case, DaCosta said. And this goes back to DaCosta and them saying that it was the mother using an annuity and retirement to help Catherine McManowah. So again, what have they learned since then? Because why are they even on the list? If they're not going to blow Donna out the water, or at least show some form of guilt toward Donna. That's the whole purpose of putting any witness on the stand. That conference, now the conference that these two attorneys attended was private. It was in Judge Hankinson's chambers. So nobody understood what was said or anything like that. In what amounted to a legal blow to the theory of the Adelson's involvement in the case, he said he was satisfied that Catherine McManowah's attorneys were being paid by a third party unrelated to the Adelson family and declined to disclose specifics to the prosecution. And that, to me, makes me want to scratch my nappy head, right? Because why would the judge hold back? Hey, first, I'm the judge, and I say that I see no one, direct connection here, but I'm not going to tell you the reason for that. It would seem to me that the state prosecutors there should have a right to know why. And not only that, say it really, there was proof positive that it didn't come from the Adelsons. There was another way that the money got, they could explore that through the discovery process and say, well, maybe this is second party, third party. But the judge won't allow it. He cut it off at the knees. Liza Joe says Charlie made $3.5 million a year. Yes, Liza Joe, good point. Also, though, you got to keep in mind, he'd been sued. He did have some debt, from my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you don't know, was his house, that beautiful house he had, his boat, all the things that he had, was all that paid for? Or was, he get it on his credit or what? Hi, Patty Ann. So, on a Monday, today, August 12th, the bottom line is all of that needs to be turned in. Donna Adelson, I am sure could be, that no matter how much Dan Rashbaum and his co-counsel there do their job, she said he did an excellent job in Charlie's, yet Charlie was convicted. Yeah, you can just be sure, y'all. She's going to have some tips for her attorney. She's going to want to... Donna Adelson is a control freak. And, you know, when it is stated in the media from news organizations that the state there, Georgia Cappleman and her team, says they think that after jury duty, we're talking about a week of trial. And Dan Rashbaum says in the pre-trial hearing last time they met, they think it's going to be 2 weeks. I believe that they will absolutely call people to the stand. Will they call Donna Adelson? And if so, is she going to say the same stuff that Dan Rashbaum put his name behind in Charlie Adelson's trial? This extortion 1, extortion 2 crap. It would have to happen because Donna's son said, I told Mom, I told her, I said, don't tell Dad, don't tell Wendy, don't tell nobody. Give me a break. Give me a break. Little Lady Di says he put it all on Donna, how he's going to defend that. Right. How's he going to defend it? And I just, honestly, y'all, that would be the stupidest dang thing for the state there. I'm sorry. Charlie's like, well, I'm life in prison. I should have listened to my gut. I might as well be dead. Blah, 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 blah. And has come to the realization that the only way, who knows what the state offered him? Did the state offer him a name change? Did the state offer him less time in prison? Who knows? Who knows? He could take the stand and be against his mother. Maybe he's at this point, you know what? She was going to take off to freaking Taiwan and leave me here. Of course, there's evidence out there that she'd already invested. It wasn't Taiwan, it was Vietnam, excuse me. She'd already invested in some kind of condo in Vietnam months before Charlie's trial. So she knew this was coming. So it's going to be interesting what the remaining witnesses on the state's list, and even more interesting, who Dan Rashbaum is going to get to take the stand in defense of Donna/domestic coordinator Adelson is going to do, right? It is. It's going to be very interesting, Leanne Forsberg. Yes, periodontists make big bucks, says Liza Joe, right? Yeah, Liza Joe says, didn't Donna lose a prosecutor's ear? New prosecutor put them away. All right, y'all. So, you can't defend the indefensible, says Maria P. We're just going to have to find out, aren't we, folks? KJ's doing a little more research and analysis on other things. Again, y'all, I can only do what I can do. It's up to the Rays and anyone else who's willing to join along. Let's figure a lot of this out together. It's one thing for someone to tell you something, and it's a fact. Some people like that. They just want the facts, and that's fine. But it's also interesting to use those thinking abilities to take you down different roads and to find out things that maybe others know nothing about. Who knows, right? We've seen evidence of that way of things going. Especially with the last case. We'll just have to see, right? I love you all. Thank y'all so much for being here. Leave your comments. If you think of something inside that mind, even if it's just a question, you're not here to give me answers in terms of, hey, KJ, this is the answer. This is the fact. That's good, and I'd appreciate that. But I also like the questions because it doesn't mean that I'm going to answer it. It might mean that question could lead me to another question that does have an answer. So with that being said, I hope everyone has a great day. Thank y'all so much for being here. We'll get back together. I'm going to try to get back on Wednesday and again on Friday. I might, who knows? You never know. I might show up tomorrow. Be looking to the community wall and Thanks again for all your help, and keep on looking.